What if I told you that what you've been calling a coincidence is actually a secret code from your soul trying to wake you up? That seeing repeating numbers, running into the right person at the exact moment, dreaming about something before it happens, might all be part of a silent yet incredibly precise language used by something far greater than you. Carl Jung, the father of depth psychology, believed the universe doesn't send us signs just to decorate random chance. It sends them to guide our spiritual evolution. The problem? Most people don't take it seriously. Or worse, they think it's all in their head. In this video, you'll discover what Jung knew and what many spiritual teachers still overlook. You'll understand how these meaningful coincidences act as portals between the physical and the invisible, revealing clues about your purpose, your essence, and even your next decisions. And the best part? You'll learn how to recognize these signs in your own life without needing a guru, a ritual, or some magical formula. What you're about to hear might completely change the way you see everything. Literally everything, so take a deep breath, because after this you won't be able to say you didn't see the signs. Carl Jung didn't see the world the way most people do. To him, chance wasn't just chance, it was a language, a mysterious way the universe communicates with us without using words. This phenomenon, which he called synchronicity, happens when two seemingly unrelated events connect through a deeper meaning, as if orchestrated by a higher intelligence. A thought that pops into your head, and in the very next minute, someone brings it up. A mental image during meditation that later shows up on the cover of a random book. None of this is just coincidence, it's your soul whispering. When Jung began observing these symbolic connections, he noticed they often occurred during pivotal inner transitions. Existential crises, major decisions, loss, or new beginnings. As if the universe was saying, "Hey, pay attention, something bigger is unfolding." Synchronicity works like a lighthouse in the fog of the unconscious, illuminating the path for those ready to see beyond the surface. According to Jung, these signs don't come from the outside. They emerge from the invisible bridge between the collective unconscious and the tangible world. And it's at this intersection that spiritual growth accelerates. The moment you begin to realize that nothing, absolutely nothing, is random. So what if it's true? What if every detail in your life holds a hidden purpose, waiting to be revealed? Imagine the power of living with the awareness that signs are real, that they surround you, and your only task is to learn how to recognize them. That's what Jung was proposing, that by understanding synchronicity, we step out of autopilot and into a state of deep presence. It's as if the veil between the visible and invisible world begins to lift. And if all of this is real, could it be that the universe is also conspiring to lead you to exactly what you need, at the exact moment you're ready to find it? Has it ever happened to you? You think intensely about someone, and minutes later they call or text you, or you keep seeing the same number, like 1111, over and over at strangely specific moments. For many, these feel like random coincidences. But for Carl Jung, it was something much deeper, synchronicity in action. These are signs that show up when something is shifting in your unconscious, trying to rise to the surface. They appear as small reality glitches, moments that pause your routine and make you ask, wait, what is this trying to tell me? And it's not just numbers or surprise messages. Sometimes it's meeting someone with a life story eerily similar to yours, right when you feel lost, or dreaming of something that plays out days later with uncanny precision. Carl Jung said these events are symbolic messages from an invisible intelligence, and ignoring them is like covering your ears while your soul is screaming. If you're serious about deepening your spiritual growth, the first step is to stop brushing off these signs as just your imagination and start recognizing them as the language of the spirit. Want a simple way to start tuning in? Start keeping track of every sign, coincidence, and weird moment that happens in your day. Use a notebook, an app, or even your phone's notes. If you dream about someone and bump into them days later, write it down. If 3 different people give you the same advice, take note. This synchronicity journal will open your perception like never before. And the more you record, the more signs will appear, as if the universe is testing you. Are you listening now? But here's the real question. What are these signs actually trying to show you? Most people don't realize it, but every synchronicity carries a clue about your purpose. Jung believed that when something out of the ordinary happens and hits you emotionally, it's not random, it's your soul trying to redirect you. You know those days when you're completely down and out of nowhere, you hear a phrase on the radio that feels like it was meant just for you? Or when you're about to make the wrong decision, but something, an almost invisible presence, gently steers you away. These moments aren't accidental. They're invitations to reconnect with your life's mission, a kind of spiritual GPS kicking in. When you start noticing patterns in your synchronicities, you also start noticing the patterns of your own soul. Have you realized how certain messages repeat themselves when you're on the verge of a big shift? A symbol that shows up in different places, a book recommended by 3 different people, an inner calling that won't go away even when you try to ignore it. Jung would say, all of this is the self, the center of the psyche, trying to align you with your higher purpose. It's like the universe is whispering, you're closer than you think, just trust. A powerful way to explore this is to revisit the synchronicities that impacted you the most and ask, what was this trying to reveal about me? If you can, write a symbolic letter to your future self, sharing what you've learned from these experiences. Reflect on the themes they had in common, what they were pointing to, and what decisions followed. According to Jung, spiritual development accelerates when we begin to engage with these symbols instead of ignoring them. But why is it that not everyone notices these signs with the same clarity? Have you ever tried to tell someone about an incredible synchronicity you experienced, and they just gave you a skeptical look or said, that's just a coincidence? Yeah, it happens. Not everyone is able to see the signs, and Jung had an explanation for that. He believed that only those who begin to look inward, to explore their own psyche, are able to see beyond the obvious. It's as if spiritual perception is a muscle, one that needs to be activated. The more you open yourself to the invisible, the more the invisible reveals itself to you. Vibration and awareness go hand in hand, and when your vibration shifts, reality begins to speak to you. Some people live on autopilot, stuck in routine, bills, phone notifications, and they end up numb. Synchronicity walks right past them, but they don't even notice. It's like listening to music with your headphones at full volume and missing your alarm. Jung would say you have to silence the noise of the ego to hear the voice of the soul. And more than that, true perception begins when you integrate your shadow, that part of yourself you hide, deny, or repress. Only when you face who you really are, both the light and the dark, does your frequency shift. And that's when the universe starts to respond in a completely different way. If you want to begin increasing your sensitivity to signs, here's a simple yet powerful practice. Take 10 minutes out of your day to observe what's around you. Without judgment, just presence. Walk through your neighborhood, sit in silence, or simply listen to the conversations around you. Then ask yourself, what is the universe trying to show me right now? This shift from doing to noticing is a turning point in spiritual growth. And once you start noticing, something magical begins to happen. But when the signs do appear, what should you do with them? Receiving a sign is just the beginning. The real question is, what do you do with it? Carl Jung saw synchronicity not as a spectacle, but as an invitation to act, to reflect, to transform. The problem is, many people do notice the signs, but dismiss them as nothing. And over time, the universe stops sending them. It's like ignoring a friend who's trying to warn you about something important. When a sign shows up, that's your cue to pause, take a deep breath, and ask, what is life trying to show me right now? Because ignoring these nudges is like leaving a gift unopened in the corner of the room and pretending it's not there. Want a practical way to make sure you never overlook a sign again? Create a notebook of invisible answers. Every time something strange, symbolic, or oddly timed happens, write it down. Note what happened, how you felt in the moment, and what it might be telling you. By doing this, you're literally telling the universe, I'm listening. And guess what? It responds. Jung called this a dialogue with the unconscious. And when you agree to that dialogue, the signs become clearer, more frequent, and sometimes even eerily specific. The best part, they start guiding your decisions with uncanny accuracy. But here's the thing, following the signs takes courage. Because often, they point toward changes you've been avoiding. They ask you to trust your intuition more than logic, to let go of control and embrace the unknown. It can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent your whole life trying to please others or follow the right path. But according to Jung, spiritual development is for those who choose to live with truth over convenience. So now the question is, if you already know all this, are you ready to do things differently? So tell me, after everything you've just heard, are you still going to call it chance when it's clearly a calling? Are you really going to keep ignoring the chills, the coincidences, the soul's signs, as if they were just bodily reactions or all in your head? Because if you've made it this far, some part of you already knows. The universe has been speaking to you for a while now. The question is, what are you going to do with that? Will you start writing down the signs that show up? Will you pay more attention to those goosebumps that come out of nowhere? Will you allow yourself to feel more and overthink less? Because when you start trusting your intuition, everything changes. And if you've ever experienced something that gave you chills, tell me about it in the comments. I want to know, what's the strongest coincidence you've ever lived? The one that made you stop and think, this can't just be a coincidence. And if this video sparked something inside you, if it resonated with you, do this. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next videos, I'll keep revealing the hidden codes behind reality. The ones no one teaches, but that change everything once you learn how to listen. See you at the next sign.